The air in South Africa right now is so thick you could choke on it. This isn't just a court case anymore. It's a full-blown national soap opera, and everyone, from the aunties on the street corners in Soweto to the heavy hitters in the White House, is watching. You want the real tea? Grab a seat, because this story has more twists than a mountain pass, and the stakes are higher than anyone is willing to admit on camera. The scene, the lion in the room. Let's set the stage. We are in East London, Eastern Cape. Outside the court, it's a sea of red. The chanting is rhythmic, powerful, and honestly a little intimidating if you're on the wrong side of it. But when you step through those heavy wooden doors into the courtroom, the temperature drops 10 degrees. And there he is, Julius Malema. He's not wearing his red overalls today. He's in a suit that probably costs more than a small car. He looks calm, but you can see that commander-in-chief fire in his eyes. He's sitting there, facing the bench, waiting for the woman who holds his entire political future in her hands. The optics, a black revolutionary versus a white magistrate. Now this is where it gets messy. Sitting on that bench is Magistrate Toinette Olivier. She's white, she's stern, and in the eyes of the thousands of people outside, she represents the very establishment that Malema has spent his life trying to dismantle. The gossip in the gallery is that the state chose this specific court and this specific judge because they knew the optics would be explosive. It's like a Shakespearean tragedy. You have the man who says he wants to take the land back from white owners, being judged by a white woman over an incident involving a gun. The racial tension is so palpable you can almost see it shimmering in the air like heat on a highway. Every time Magistrate Olivier adjusts her glasses or looks down at her notes, the room holds its breath. People are whispering, is she going to be the one to finally pull the plug on the EFF? The sponsorship theory, who is pulling the strings? People keep using the phrase politically sponsored, and let's be real, it's the talk of the town. The gossip is that this isn't just about a firearm being discharged at a rally in 2018. If it were just about the gun, they would have finished this years ago. The rumor among the political elite is that there's a grand coalition working behind the scenes. They say the ANC, the old guard, and the DA, the opposition, have realized that as long as Malema is in parliament, they can't have the quiet, stable, business-as-usual South Africa they want. He's too loud. He's too effective. The word is that this sentencing is a coordinated hit. The goal? Section 47. If he gets more than 12 months, he's disqualified from the 2029 elections. They aren't trying to put him in jail to punish a crime. They're trying to put him in jail to win an election. It's lawfare at its finest, and the sponsors are allegedly the big banks and the mining houses who are terrified of his nationalization talk. The bodyguard bombshell. Here is a piece of gossip that is driving the EFF lawyers crazy. Adrian Snyman Doelman, the bodyguard. He was the co-accused. The state said he gave Malema the gun. But guess what? The court acquitted Snyman. The gossip in the legal chambers is, how does that work? If the guy who supposedly provided the weapon is innocent, how can the guy who fired it be guilty of possessing an illegal firearm? It's a massive hole in the story, and it's fueling the fire that this is a personal vendetta against Julius alone. People are saying the state sacrificed the bodyguard just to keep the focus on the big prize. Malema's head on a platter. Enter the White House, the Biden/Trump factor. But wait, it gets even bigger. This isn't just a local South African squabble. The gossip has reached Washington, D.C. The U.S. president, whether it's the current administration under Biden or the looming shadow of a Trump return, is reportedly getting briefed on this daily. Why? Because South Africa is the gateway to the continent, and Malema is the most vocal anti-Western leader in the region. The word from the diplomats is that the U.S. is deeply concerned about Malema's ties to Russia and his rhetoric about the BRICS nations. The gossip is that there might even be some diplomatic encouragement from the U.S. to the South African government to stabilize the political landscape. In plain English, they wouldn't mind if Malema was sidelined. There are whispers that some of the NGOs and legal watchdogs pushing for Malema's prosecution are receiving funding from overseas interests. The new Mandela being silenced by a Western-backed legal system? That's the narrative the EFF is pushing, and honestly, the evidence is starting to look a bit suspicious. The new Mandela martyrdom, Malema knows exactly what he's doing. He's leaning into the gossip. He's telling everyone who will listen, they want to do to me what they did to Mandela. He's positioning himself as the man who is too dangerous for the system to leave free. The gossip inside the EFF inner circle is that they've already scouted out which prison he might go to. They want the images of him behind bars. They want the Free Malema t-shirts ready. They know that in South Africa, a jail cell is the fastest way to the presidency. If Magistrate Olivier sentences him to 15 years, She might accidentally be handing him the keys to the union buildings in a decade. The shocking charges, a 15-year reach. The state is asking for a 15-year sentence for a gun that nobody got hurt by in a country where people walk free for much worse. That is the part that is shocking the public. The gossip is that the prosecution is being incentivized to go for the maximum. They want to make an example out of him. But the pushback is going to be massive. If a white judge hands down a 15-year sentence to a black political leader for a theatrical stunt at a rally, while the state-captured looters are still sipping lattes in Sanditon, the gossip won't just be talk anymore. It will be fire in the streets. The verdict on the horizon. So here we are. The world is watching. The U.S. president is watching. The sponsors in the boardrooms are watching. And Magistrate Olivier is sitting there, under the most intense pressure of her career. Is this justice? Or is this a politically sponsored hit job designed to save an aging ruling class from a revolutionary threat? The gossip says it's the latter. The court says it's the former. But as they say in the streets, the truth is like the sun. You can try to cover it with your hands, but it's still going to rise. Buckle up, because when that sentence is read out, South Africa and the world is never going to be the same. This is the gossip that changed a nation. The final shocking breakdown. The judge, Magistrate Olivier, white, fueling the apartheid-style justice narrative. The sponsorship. Allegations that big business and the ANCDA coalition want him disqualified via Section 47. The global angle, the U.S. president, is reportedly keeping a close eye on the anti-Western Malema. The hypocrisy. His bodyguard was acquitted, leaving many to wonder how the crime even exists. The stakes. A 15-year request for a non-injury gun charge from 2018.
Most of the evidence, you see that in paragraph 5.1 of the report, my source is Mr. Malema. But if they had this email chain, you would expect that on the day the witness presented, they put it to her. They don't. And then they try to get that evidence introduced in argument, which your leadership can just dismiss without more. So we submit, therefore, your leadership that there is a potential irregularity which flows from the non-compliance with Section 34 of the Criminal Procedure Act and the non-compliance potentially with Section 35 of the Criminal Procedure Act. But you say it also raises really profound questions about how this knowledge occurred prior to the delivery of the judgment. We leave it there and take it no further, but we say it does raise deeper questions that require interrogation. But it does show that even on the stage showing, they did not regard the offense to be serious. Why do you return the instrument of the commission of the offense prior to the delivery of the judgment? Why? So that's in relation to question 1, which is the return of the firearm. We say it's relevant to sentencing because it shows that the state did not treat this as serious, but it's also relevant to a larger question about the propriety of the conduct of the state.
So behind me is the leader of the EFF. His name is Julius Malema. He appeared in the Kugompo City Magistrates Court today. His case has finally been concluded. He's coming back tomorrow for sentencing. So by the end of tomorrow, really, we are going to know if Julius Malema will be sentenced to direct imprisonment or whether or not he is going to be given a fine. A really interesting development which we'll see in court tomorrow. Tell me what you think in the comment section.
I've got an appointment, a very important appointment with the future. And you are not going to stop me into making it into that appointment with the future. They tried it with me. They failed. They buried me alive. They put a concrete on my grave. And they did not know they were planting a seed. Through the concrete, I decided to rise. They couldn't believe it, that I was rising on a concrete. Many wrote me off. Articles and articles in the BBC, in the CNN, in the New York Times. I'm not telling you about Kronstadt Times. New York Times. Malema's future is finished. But I knew that no one has my future in his pocket. I have my own future, and I will decide what I'm going to do with my future. I'm telling you my story to inspire you that no one is going to control your future. You are going to decide what's going to happen. As you grow up, when you research on the internet, this, I'm not telling you fiction, is there. Malema's future is finished. It's not going to be anything in society. Malema is going to jail.